I have a specific way of doing things, and if they are not followed to the letter,
okay,
the conversation is over.
Fair enough, Doctor. You are the expert, and I appreciate you being on the show. And
pleasure to be here.
Then let's start the clock over.
Okay, here we go. Have you seen this new Frank Zappa documentary? It's made by either Bill or Ted.
Yeah, I'm not sure which one was Bill and which one was Ted, but Alex Winter directed it. I did see it.
What a piece of work that guy is. It's like he was condescending the moment he came out of the womb. You can almost imagine him turning to his mother and like critiquing the birth. Like, well, what would he say in that moment?
He probably a newborn Frank Zappa would probably turn to the world and say, "You're welcome," because of his mere existence.
He's blessed the planet with his first breath.
Yes,
it's interesting. I don't think I'd ever heard any of his super early garage band stuff before. You know, I've never heard any of his early, like pre Mothers of Invention music, and it was interesting because they had a little bit of that in the movie, and I was surprised to find that even his earliest music made fun of music.
Yeah, he certainly had a disdain for music. When he's saying, I would hear like Mozart and Bach and Beethoven, and I didn't like any of that. It's like, oh, okay. Right as a teenager, he was already just being like, no, I'll pass on the Mozart.
Right? Yeah, he stinks.
Yeah, he already was just like, I like classical music, but this Beethoven stuff, nah.
Remedial stuff. It's weird. I don't have any of his big records. You know, like I've got a few, but I'll go on record as saying nobody fused doo-wop with overcomplicated music and lyrics torn from the pages of Screw magazine better than Frank Zappa.
Yeah, he pretty much had a clear path on that one. King of the Mountain.
Absolutely. I think probably my favorite song of his, you know, is tough one. It's probably G-Spot Tornado.
That's your favorite?
Probably, yeah. Probably second, close second. It's got to be the Illinois Enema Bandit.
Sure, of course. No, that's way up there. That's a lot. What's my favorite? I think they're all the same. They all just live at the same level for me.
Yeah,
they're all tied.
I think they're all. I see that. All right, here's a quiz for you. Okay,
yeah.
Here's the band.
Mm-hmm.
Frank Zappa, Neil Young, Todd Rundgren, Garth Brooks, Lou Reed, Van Morrison. 6 flagrant alphas who all think they're the smartest, most talented person in the room. Who's the first to defer? Who's the first to defer to someone else during a creative impasse?
Van Morrison would check out the first. He would be the first one to check out and focus on the paycheck.
What do you think he'd say though? Like, do you think would he make some excuse, or would he just say, I don't care about this?
I think he would say you're all, and he would probably use a very mean word. And take your pick for what mean word he would use.
Right. Probably begins with a C.
Probably, perhaps. And then and maybe a word in front of that word, or a bunch of words in front of that word, potentially. And then he would just say, I'm only here for the money. And then I think he would be the first to, if that was breaking, that would be him breaking.
I think you're spot on with that. I think that makes sense.
Todd Rundgren also, I feel like, could just figure out the financial side of things and cope with it.
Right. No, that makes sense.
What would that band be called? The Insufferables?
I think you named it. Maybe Los Insufferables.
Los Insufferables.
Yeah.
So it would be like, what you're saying is it's a really weird version of the Traveling Wilburys.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. A meaner Traveling Wilbury.
It's the angry Traveling Wilburys. Who is it again?
Well, it's Frank Zappa. Neil Young, Todd Rundgren, Garth Brooks, Lou Reed, and Van Morrison.
And I love that moment when they would, if they say they did Handle with Care, that Traveling Wilburys song, what would it come in and Frank Zappa, it would be just like that part where it's like, handle me, the part that Roy Orbison sings, when he's like, usually it's like, I'm so tired of being lonely. Frank Zappa would come in and be like, I'm so tired. And it would be like, boo-doop-biddy-boo-doop, boo-doop-boo. All of a sudden the tempo just changes and it bang, and it's just vibraphone all of a sudden out of nowhere.
Yeah, and he sings in a way that he's making fun of it.
Yeah. I'm so tired of being lonely.
Exactly. Yeah. Like he can't actually sing, so he's going to make fun of it. You know what's interesting about the movie?
What's that?
I don't think there's a shot of Frank Zappa in that thing where he's not smoking. Mm-hmm. And I know this is a terrible thing for me to say as a medical professional, mm-hmm. but he kind of became a cigarette by the end of his life.
He really was probably 40% cigarette in terms of, like, he must have smelled like a cigarette. He looked like a cigarette. Yeah.
Oh my God. And that SNL footage. Did you see that?
Can you imagine that he was a guest on SNL, a host?
He hosted, right?
Yeah. He was a musical guest earlier in the run. And then like 2 seasons, I think 76, he was a musical guest. In 78, he was the host.
Oh my God.
And he was just like, and he called it a skit. He's like, I thought that skit was terrible.
Well, and then he said they should have let him write skits, which he was absolutely correct about. And I would have loved to have seen an entire night of skits about a skeevy guy trying to get on with underage girls. I think that would have really been cool.
Yeah, skit after skit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, look, I mean, he's a man of great contradictions, and there's no doubt that Frank Zappa was a true one-of-a-kind genius and a cultural leader. And I don't say this, I say this very seriously. He was definitely in league with, all of those great pioneers like Ben Franklin, Bob Marley, Bob Dylan, Gandhi, Ali, Hemingway, Jack Nicholson, Picasso. And just like these great men I just mentioned, Frank Zappa also had a deep passion not only for the betterment of society and human rights, but also for sleeping with women who weren't his current wife. So, but I've got my own addictions. I obsessively collect. I'm sure you've never heard of these things. They're called wacky packages. Hey, speaking of cool doo-wop.
Yeah.
Did not see you in Newbridge Town Square the other night when they showed that new Frank Zappa flick that either Bill or Ted directed on the Jumbotron. The whole town was there. It was great.
Yeah. Everybody came out for the big thing. I was not there. I watched it on at home.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, like I said, people loved it, and this was like people from 9 to 90, and people were going nuts. And from what I hear, they're going to put a Frank Zappa statue in that square next year.
And to honor why? Because they showed the movie?
I guess so. And people just had such a strong positive reaction to everything about him. They just loved his attitude. He was very very, very cordial and respectful of everybody. And from what I hear, this statue is going to be Frank Zappa conducting an orchestra with his baton in one hand, while he taps his cigarette ash on Mozart's head with the other hand. And guess what? Guess what the legend says at the bottom?
What does it say?
You're welcome.
Look, I did not attend this public screening of the thing. Even I was not up. Even with masks on, I'm just not up for a public thing like that. It seems very shaky and kind of against the spirit of where we're at right now in terms of the pandemic. So,
it wasn't a Halloween thing. It was Halloween was like 2 months ago. What are you talking about?
No, like masks for COVID to kind of.
I thought that was over.
No, that's not over.
Oh no! Well, we couldn't have worn masks anyway, because how could we eat our popcorn and drink our sody pop?
Yeah, I guess that's the real conundrum, huh? I guess that you.
Yep.
Frank Zappa. The only idea I have for this, and God help me for pitching an idea to help put a Frank Zappa statue downtown. What if, no matter what side of the statue you're on, you're looking at his back? Like, it always manages to frustrate you somehow.
Oh, I like it. But can you still tell that he thinks he's better than you, even if you can only see his back?
That's true. Maybe once in a while, maybe most people get the back, but some people just see the condescending smirk that he has on his face.
Got it. Okay. I think that's a great idea, because it's important that we see the smirk.
Yeah, as he explains how he could be writing hits, but he just chooses not to.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Hey, speaking of hits, everyone's got their favorite Zappa song. I'm going to guess what yours is. All right. Okay. Here we go.
Okay.
It's gotta be Dental Hygiene Dilemma.
It's up there. It's not the biggie, right, though.
Okay. Is it Electric Aunt Jemima?
That's close. Top 5. Not number 1 though.
Harder than Your Husband? That's
it. Yeah.
I knew it. I was going to say Hot and Putrid, but I knew it. Wow. See, I got a little bit of what's it called? What's that called? Not the vapors. What do they call it? Intuition.
Sure, you've got a little bit of intuition with Zappas. Like, you can look at someone and figure what their favorite Zappa song is.
Absolutely. Like, I can just meet a whoever on the street, and I'll go, you know what? You look like. Let me see here.
And then you're like looking them up and down, I'm assuming?
Yeah, just getting a read, and I go, you are a hot coop, man. And I'm usually right. Hey, speaking of stuff. When we were rifling through your car for change, we found a bunch of issues of Progressive Rock Digest magazine, and I just want to say that we think it's super cool that you write for it under the pen name Wake Rickman. It's very clever.
You figured that out?
Yes. I know rock music.
Yeah. I mean, I do it because I don't want to take attention away from the, I don't want to take attention. I want the articles to stand on their own.
I think that's very smart. Although I will say I think we probably differ on our appreciation of prog. My landlord says that prog is for eggheads who honestly don't know how to bring the thunder in the boudoir.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, but I think the music is for everybody, and I don't think it's you can't make a judgment like that.
I can see that. But hey, speaking of music, I have something for tonight's topic.
Oh, the identify it thing we're doing?
Yeah. It's the song I've heard so many times. I don't know what it is, and it's okay. It's heavy, and it sounds like there's some like weird processing happening, and the singer, he sounds like a big robot, and he goes, "I am Iron Face."
And it's like hard rock.
Yes.
And he says, I am Iron Face.
Yes. Yeah.
Would you know the riff by any chance? I think I might have a feeling of what this might be. Well,
honestly, it's really scary, so I always turn it off at that point. So I assume it's like hard rock.
Yeah, it is. But you don't know the riff. You just shut it off as soon as he says, I am Iron Face.
I do, yeah, because it sounds like he's throwing up at first. It goes like, "Meh," and then I am Iron Face.
Yeah, it's Iron Man is the name of the song by Black Sabbath. Ooh. It's a huge hit.
I don't think so. It's not Black Sabbath.
Sure
is it?
Yes.
Oh, wait, I'm thinking of Black Francis, who I guess is more of a person than a band, right?
Yes, he's the singer for the Pixies.
Okay. Well, irregardless, my landlord says it's I Am Iron Face, and he's been to a ton of big concerts, sometimes even on the floor, so he'd know.
Okay, all right. Well, it's Iron Man.
Well, I guess we could argue about that all night, but I know they played Black Sabbath played Madison Square Garden a lot, and my landlord says that you're not a real rock star until you play the Garden. So they're rock stars.
Okay, that's what your landlord says that.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Can I ask you what the deal with your landlord is? You seem to keep mentioning your landlord.
I don't like that tone when you're talking about my landlord, because you should respect my landlord, because he was in a pretty big rock band back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. Well, tell me more about your landlord.
Well, he was in a very big rock band.
Can you tell us what band your landlord was in?
They were and are called Aerosmith.
Your landlord was in Aerosmith.
Yes, yeah, and okay. Truthfully, he wasn't one of the originals. His name was Rick Dufay, and he was in the band for about 4 years. But it was that period where Joe Perry and Brad Whitford were out of the band.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So he has very fond memories of being in the band, even though it was Aerosmith's lowest point in terms of creativity and commercial success. But he's got great stories, and he said the guys really loved each other. But you're like this. There was this one weird thing about their bassist, Tom Hamilton, that really kind of bugged everybody else in the band.
Uh-huh. What is it?
The guy's really respected, Tom, because he's the guy that came up with that bass intro for what's it, Sweet Emotion? You know, doom doom zigga doom doom whatever that is.
Sure.
You know, so that's a big part of that song. So whenever he'd come in and say, I have a new idea for a song, the guys would get excited. So, but from what my landlord says, from Draw the Line on, Tom would always bring in the same song for each record, but pretend he hadn't brought it in before. And he'd start singing the song, and then they'd realize it was the same song they rejected for the last album and the album before that, etc.
So he kept bringing in the same thing over and over and would act like he had a new idea.
Exactly. And the song is pretty weird.
Okay. What is it?
Well, my landlord only sang it to me.
I got to say, I hate how you say "my landlord." It really.
Well, he's a big part of my life, Tom.
Okay, we'll go on with your story about your landlord.
Well, now you're mad, and I don't like it.
No, I'm not mad. I just it's just odd, to be honest.
Okay, well,
it's odd.
Speaking of odd, the song in question is called "The Popcorn Bowls."
The Popcorn Bowls.
Yes, and from the way my landlord described it,
it cuts through me. It cuts through me, Todd.
I don't get it. I don't know, but from the way my landlord described it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll stop. It's like you're talking about like some god. Never mind.
Well,
tell me the way your landlord talks about it. No. The way your landlord talks about it.
He says it's kind of like a forerunner of that song Christmas Shoes. Do you remember that song?
Yes. Uh-huh.
It's kind of in that bland, ultra schmaltzy kind of vaguely like almost country kind of song, but it's not country. It's just like it's almost music for people who don't think they like music or don't know that they like music.
Sure.
All right. So as I said before, he only sang it to me once, but it's been burned into my mind. All right, and I'll sing it for you if you'd like. Just the first little verse.
Okay, please do.
It was like, Grandma loved her grandkids, but she was from a different world, a world of Model Ts and doilies, and the comedy of Milton Berle. When us kids would go to her house, she always wore a nice blouse. She didn't get our jokes, but she was a wonderful host, always quick with a warm popcorn bowl. I still miss those popcorn bowls. Popcorn bowls, popcorn bowls. Dear grandma's ever loving popcorn bowls. And the rest of the song is 6 more minutes.
About his grandmother and the popcorn bowls.
Yes, and there's this whole scene where the grandmother gets kidnapped. Nothing weird happens, but it involves like an ocean journey. It's really crazy stuff, Tom. And then at the end of every verse, he comes back to his fondness for the popcorn bowls.
And now this was supposed to be potentially a song for Aerosmith.
It could have potentially been on Night in the Ruts.
So it would have just been like, you'd be listening to an Aerosmith record and it would be like Back in the Saddle Again, and then Popcorn Bowls would be the next song. Popcorn
Bowls, yeah. And I guess he wanted to sing it too, so it would be crazy. But my landlord still keeps in touch with Joey Kramer, the drummer, and every time Aerosmith starts a new record in the studio, Joey texts my landlord with day one, ... the countdown begins, ... And then, without fail, maybe in the next 2 weeks or so, the text comes in. Houston, the popcorn bowls have landed.
Oh, so it's just it was an endless joke.
He's still doing it, apparently.
Still.
He's still doing it.
They're basically on their last legs as a band now.
Yeah.
And he's still pushing popcorn bowls.
As far as I know, he wanted to bluesify it for Honkin' on Bobo.
A bluesy version of a song about grandma's popcorn bowls.
Yeah.
Well,
popcorn bowls. Woo! Harmonica. Yeah. Woo! Popcorn bowls.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a look behind the curtain, huh?
Very much. Very much. Oh no. Oh my God.
What's going on?
Oh my God.
What's wrong?
Oh my God. My coworker Morty, he just sent me this link to a YouTube page. It's called The Further Adventures, I can't say the word, My Dip S Hit Tenant. The Further Adventures of My Dip S Hit Tenant.
Sure, gotcha.
Oh my God.
What is it?
It's just video after video of me doing things that seemed normal at the time, but now I can see seem very, very weird. Tom, my landlord has been filming me this whole time.
Well, I just pulled it up.
God. No.
Oh my God. No, this is you?
No. Oh my God. Oh my God. Please don't describe in great detail to your listening audience what you see in these videos. Please.
Oh no, but it's a tribute to you or whatever you said. It's like, yeah. Okay, here you are. It looks like you're
No.
Like you got a little blanket fort going in and you're trapped in it. It looks like you don't know how to get out of the blanket fort.
I couldn't get out. So anyway, back to the same old boring grind, but at least I'm not going to go to jail for anything I did during the short time I was down there in Trump land, right? You got to see the positive of it.
Sure. No, that's fair.
Hey, have you seen the Frank Zappa documentary? It's new. It's by either Bill or Ted. I can't remember who did it.
I did see it, yes. I did see the Frank Zappa documentary.
I liked it. I had one little thing that I didn't like about it.
What was that?
There was no mention in that entire movie of that kids show that Frank Zappa had in I guess it was the late 70s, and it was called Condescending Station. Do you remember that?
I don't. I know it wasn't in the documentary. He had a kids show, huh?
Yeah, and he basically it was kind of like Mr. Rogers. It takes place in this fictional town, and the kids learn things, and basically he's the mayor of the town, and basically the title pretty much tells you exactly what.
Sure.
What happened? He would kind of talk down to the kids and kind of make fun of them for not knowing what he knew.
Sure. Was he smoking the entire time?
Oh yeah, and he would try to get the kids to smoke too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing kids don't tend to gravitate toward is the music of Varese.
It's true. Yeah.
Kids generally don't respond that well to the classic, the 20th century classical composer.
No, they sure don't. No, rock on. The songs that I've been really getting into of his are, oh my God, my favorites off the top of my head are probably Lonesome Electric Turkey, How the Pigs Music Works, what else? St. Alfonso's Pancake Breakfast, This Town is a Sealed Tuna Sandwich, Jazz Fart, of course. The Duke Regains His Chops. What else? The Girl Wants to Fix Him Some Broth. But my favorite is probably Ian Underwood Whips It Out.
Yeah, those are all classics.
Yeah. Hey, did you see the Bee Gees documentary?
Not yet. I know there's a new Bee Gees documentary coming out. I have not seen it.
Oh, cool. Rock on. I don't know a lot of that super early stuff other than the hits.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good place to start with the early stuff. I know there's one called Spicks and Specks, and I think there's one called like Horizontal. Is that right?
Yeah, Horizontal's one. There's one called is it Odessa? The Bee Gees First is a good one, and I'm blanking out. What is the one album? I think it's Odessa. I'm getting it wrong. I know I'm getting it wrong, but
okay. All right, rock on. Cool. That's cool. What God, I'm trying to think. There's something else I was going to ask you. I can't remember what it was.
Hey,
it was about the. Yeah.
Can I just, Darren, thing that's been happening through the last 15 minutes of our conversation is you keep sliding in, Rock On.
I do?
Yeah. You said it about 6 times.
Oh, rock on. It's just this cool thing I'm trying out. I think it's time I had a cool catchphrase, like you and get off my phone and get into the hate pit and keep your hands off of my mozzarella.
I don't know if that's one I've said, but that third one, I think I've ever said that, but I don't think I ever said keep your hands off my mozzarella. I don't think I ever said as a catchphrase.
Rock on. What do you think of my catchphrase?
Honestly, I think it's a little contrived.
Huh. Well, my landlord says it's cool.
Your landlord likes how you say rock on?
He does, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, speaking of that Bee Gees documentary, one of the cool things about it, not a spoiler, but they finally name that song a lot of your callers have been asking about all these years. It's the one that goes, oh, girl, bitch, why did you tell me that stuff when you knew I was already upset? It turns out it's this rare B-side, and it's called Love Medicine. I didn't know that.
I've never been able to place that song. That is crazy. So the documentary says that that song is called Love Medicine.
Yes, yeah. And I talked to my landlord about it, and my landlord says that it was left off main course because it was too erotic.
Okay. That would. I wouldn't have pegged that song as being overly erotic, but.
I guess there's a whole third verse where, like, it describes, sexual stuff. So I don't know. It seems very unlike them. But my landlord says that it's real. So, hey, speaking of great songs, you played a song on last week's show that was so good. It's maybe the best thing I've ever heard you play on the best show. But I can't remember the name of it. Do you remember like any of the songs you played last week?
What did I play? I played an OC's song. I played their version of European Sun by Velvet Underground. I played that last week. I played a Roy Orbison song. I played the song The Comedians by Roy Orbison. Those are two I know I played.
It's neither of those. This song goes, popcorn bowls. I sure do miss Grandma's popcorn bowls.
Yeah,
what is that?
That's a song I've never heard that before until a guy called last week and talked all about popcorn. He sang that song to me last week. I had never heard it before. I guess he said it was like something that one of the members of Aerosmith was trying to push to get on.
Because my landlord was in Aerosmith.
Okay. Because the guy last week was talking about who's the landlord again?
Rick Dufay?
Yes, the other guy. Yeah, the one of the guys in Aerosmith during one of their off periods, I guess you could say.
Interesting. He must own several properties here in Newbridge. I don't know. That's kind of cool, right? Have a celebrity in town.
Yeah, to have a celebrity landlord in town, huh? Rick Dufay.
Absolutely, yeah. Hey, are you going to the Consolidated Christmas party next week? Wait, I'm not on the air, am I?
You are on the air.
Oh, drats.
Yeah, well,
you don't hear people say that no more, do you?
Nobody says drats anymore. You're right.
It's all F this and F that and D that and S that. No one says drats no more.
Yeah, no, really, it was such an elegant time back then when you would say drats.
It certainly was back in the mid-'60s. Hey, speaking of...
Yeah?
Happy post-Zappa Day. It was his 80th birthday yesterday.
Yeah, happy post-Zappa birthday. That's right. Yesterday would have been Frank Zappa's 80th birthday.
That's right. Rock on. Did you see the Zappa documentary that just went up a couple weeks ago?
I did.
Oh, rock on. You know, I'm the one who taught Zappa that holier-than-thou super condescending thing.
You are?
Oh, yeah. You want to hear the story?
Yes, please.
Oh, rock on. Well, here's the dealio. My mom was working catering at the newly opened electric factory in 1968 when the Mothers bopped down to Philly from New York where they was recording Reuben and the Jets. My dad was on the prowl that night of the Mother show, so Mom had to take me to work with her. I was only 4 at the time, but oh, was I precocious.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I was out of hand. So basically, I'm just sitting at a table in catering, and I look up, and Frank Zappa's getting a heaping ladle full of sog paneer out of one of them pots there. And he takes it out, and he overshoots his plate, and he ends up getting spinach all over his shirt.
Okay.
So I go, smooth move, parrot face. And now this was before he had what I call the Zappa zest, right?
What do you call? What is it before he had the Zappa what?
Zest, Z-E-S-T. You know how
okay.
What's the movie? Gone with the Wind, where he says he goes, "You, Scarlett, have a certain zest for living." It's like that.
Yeah, I don't know if that's Gone with the Wind. I think that's Caddyshack.
I always get them confused for some reason, don't you?
Oh, it happens.
Okay. So anyway, I call Frank Parrotface, and he immediately goes beet red, and then a little tear starts falling down his cheek, and I realize, oh my God, he's totally humiliated. And I felt really bad all of a sudden. And Tom, to this day, it's probably the worst and maybe the only time I ever felt bad about anything I'd done.
So that's troubling. That's what it took for you to feel any sort of remorse for something?
Oh, but I did feel it for a couple seconds, and then I kind of moved on.
Sure. No, well, then you just powered through.
Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at Frank, and I'm thinking to myself, and I go, I know this is the proverbial fork in the road for this dude. So I toddle up to him, and in full view of everyone, band, crew, security, management, I go, look, you muscle-free, way too complicated music magazine's perv of the year. Do you want to be a little tiny mouse or the insufferable, condescending, and I hold up my tiny hands to make little air quotes, genius who changes music history by somehow combining the least enjoyable aspects of jazz, the self-satisfied pompousness of classical music, and the cringiest elements of doo-wop, with lyrics about having sex with teenage girls who aren't your wife, and somehow getting people to love it. And he stops crying, and he goes, I honestly can't remember exactly what you said just now, but I want to be the second part of it.
Wow. So you really were an influential figure in the...
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally. And I go, okay, all you got to do is remember the humiliation you suffered at the tiny mittened hands of the tot you see before you right now. Mm-hmm. And everyone whoever gets in your way or ruffles your feathers is that tot and is the object of your hatred, on whom you must get vengeance. And the rest is Zappistery. That's Zappa and history combined. It's called vulnerability. You should probably look into it. And by the way, I want to say I was the first person to look into it onto a retort. Okay, just for the record.
I'm really not sure about that, but okay.
What do you think? I sound like wimpy in it?
Yeah, I think you sound really wimpy in it.
All right, well, check it out. All right. Rule number 1. Chicks love it when they think you have emotions.
Well, that's such a gross statement.
Well, my landlord says it's true, and he was in Aerosmith for a little bit.
Chicks love it when they think you have emotions. Just let that sit for a second.
Okay.
And I want to talk about your landlord. Your landlord from what's his name?
Rick Dufay.
From formerly of Aerosmith.
Yeah, I think he's on Done with Mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Rock in a Hard Place, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the golden era.
Absolutely, yeah. He turned me on this amazing song that for God knows why Aerosmith won't record. It's amazing. It goes popcorn bowls. I sure do miss Grandma's popcorn bowls. I mean, that's a number 1 hit.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, well, God bless him, I guess, your landlord. Must be some building over there with...
Hey, you can't talk to me like that. I'm sick of it. I mean, this guy was like the Charles Manson of melodic guitar rock, and people in Newbridge were calling him Powerpop at one point. He was so terrible, and basically he convinced me to tweak my already in the works Old West amusement park and add this new musical element. And honestly, I'd never even heard of Powerpop before I met this guy. See, I was into cool, thought-provoking music like The Doors and Frank Zappa.
You were to what kind of music?
Thought-provoking music.
Thought-provoking. And what thought does that music provoke exactly?
The Doors and Frank Zappa together, probably superiority over other humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knowing everything.
What's that?
Just knowing everything and being above everybody else.
Yeah. Doesn't it ever strike you that Jim Morrison was really, really, really not smart?
Well, I'll tell you, a pair of leather trousers can make up a huge amount of ground in that department.
Yeah.
But all that's in the past now because I have just the thing that's going to put me back on track.
Yeah, just the thing that's going to put you back on track. All right.
I sure do. And oddly, it's another song.
Okay. Well, tell me more.
Well, this thing is guaranteed to be a monster. And truthfully, I've not actually heard the song, but the entire music industry is talking about this thing. Like I said, I'm not one of the lucky ducks who's heard it, but from what I understand, it goes popcorn bowls, popcorn bowls. I sure do miss Grandma's popcorn bowls. They were round and deep, and you wouldn't say a peep when she brought out those popcorn bowls. I mean, this thing is going to be the next I Will Always Love You, or at least the new November Rain.
Popcorn bowls. You really think a song about Grandma's popcorn bowl is going to be that kind of standard, basically?
I do. Absolutely. And if you have any idea where I can get my hands on that publishing, I'd be forever in your debt. I've got a few leads. I've spoken to at least 8 people who have a landlord who might be able to help.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Danny, I'm going to ask you something, and don't take this the wrong way, okay?
Okay, I already am, though.
You kind of have to, in a way, because that's how questions like that go. There's no way to not. If somebody tells you to not take something personally, they're about to say something you're gonna
so bad.
Probably take personally. Yeah, but I'm gonna ask you to just try.
Okay.
Well, you've done so many ventures, and the ones you've done with your partner, your sometime partner Rex, seem to just go light it up.
Right.
And then you have these ones you've done by yourself, and they tend to, it seems like they crash and burn. Is there anything to the idea that Rex is maybe the brains behind all the successful ideas?
I am so in the flesh right now, Tom.
You're so in the flesh right now.
I'm so angry, but I'm gonna try to take a chill pill, and I will say this: Rex was lucky to have a maverick like me with wild ideas as a partner. Sure, he scored a massive payday in 2017 with the fidget spinner, and then again in 2018 with that video game Brainiac Station. But he's been in the pocket of big math ever since.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'll tell you frankly, I'm embarrassed for him because I'm beholden to no one, of course, outside of my ex-wife, her lawyer Mort, and his constant threats to ruin me over non-payment of alimony. But I'll tell you, if I could just get my hands on that Popcorn Bowl song, all my financial problems would be in the rear-view mirror. That's for sure.
Well, Danny, can I ask why you seem to be so hard up for money?
Tom, have you seen any footage of the Capitol invasion?
Oh, yeah. No, I've seen a lot of it.
Well, I'm the guy in the combat gear who made a big production of urinating on Nancy Pelosi's desk, but couldn't because I can't pee in front of other guys. I thought I could, but the video, it sure doesn't lie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's you, huh?
Yeah. But hear me out. I challenge any dude out there to be able to brew up a pitcher of pant lemonade when the eyes of the nation are upon them. I think in the history of entertainment, only Donnie Most has been able to do it.
In the history of entertainment, yeah, you're right. So it doesn't have nothing. It has anything to do with how repulsive that action was. You're kind of hung up on the fact that you couldn't make water on with a camera.
It's not easy. You should try it. Try it right now with a camera.
I'm not going to try it right now. I have no interest in this at all in any way, shape, or form. Do I have any interest in this? And you're kind of skating past the issue that you were one of the people attacking the Capitol.
Well, I feel like I'm going to pay for it soon. To cut a long story short, I'm on the lam from the FBI right now, and at present I'm cowering in a neighbor's doghouse. But listen up, they will never take me in because America, I am a patriot, and I will not let the fake news... Oh, no.
What's that?
No. Oh, no. Tom?
They're here to take you in?
There's a whole team of FBI agents just outside the doghouse. And seriously, I heard the FBI agents were big Best Show fans, but I didn't believe it until just now.
Why is that? How do you know they are?
Well, they must be listening in. They're quoting lines.
What lines?
Get off my phone. Wait, what? One guy's doing old Glazer bits. One guy's imitating your soundboard stuff.
Wow, these are pretty deep cuts there with the FBI. What are you saying?
Excuse me?
What were you just saying, Danny?
Oh, I'm trying to remember all the names of the other people I was at the Capitol with, so I can cut a sweet deal to keep myself out of the hut.
Oh, that's a first class way to be, huh?
There was Milt Morrison, Sheila Larson, Troy Zepkowski.
Your girlfriend. You're turning your own girlfriend in.
Well, she's mad at me. She was very mean to me tonight. There was Big Pete, Mark Schwipple, Little Pete, Claude Morplethorpe, Medium Pete, Bobby Dukowski.
So Medium Pete was at the thing, huh?
He was, yeah. Wait, are you trying to make me feel bad about giving up names?
Yes, absolutely. I think I feel like you're a traitor to go to that thing, and you're ratting out your own friends for your safety and for your freedom.
Well, put yourself in my shoes. I can't go to jail. If I can't pee in front of other guys, I certainly won't be able to do the other stuff.
Okay, well, maybe you should have thought of this before you did what you did, huh?
Well, I know, but look, it looks like the end is kind of nigh for me. So there's only one thing I can really say or do, and that's I got chills. They're multiplying. I don't have it, and I'm losing control. 'Cause the power you're supplying, it's electrifying. All right, here we go. You better shake, 'cause I need a man. I still don't have it. And my heart is set on you. You better shape up. You better understand. To my heart, I must be true. There's nothing left for me to do. You're the one that I want! Oh. No, I don't have it. Still don't have it. Ugh. It's frustrating.
Danny? Oh, how about that? Because that's the end of Danny.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
Okay, you take care.
All right, goodbye.
All right. Catch you soon.
All right, see ya.
Okay. Have a great night.
All right, best wishes.
Happy New Year.
Ta-ta.
Fare thee well.
Ciao.
Good night and good luck.
All right, cheers.
All the best.
All right, later days.
Catch on the flip-flop.
So long.
See you when I see you.
All right, smell you later.
Take it sleazy.
All right, keep it real.
Have a good time all the time.
Cheerio.
Um, later, later, skater.
Adios, mi amigo.
Buongiorno.
Namaste.
Have a good one. I think we're done.